You are listening to the Hodges Huddle, where we discuss all things in the wide world of sports. Here is your KLSU sports team.
Welcome into the Hodges Huddle. I'm your host, Andre Champagne, and today I'm joined by Nathan Messina and Jaden Smith. How's everything going with y'all?
Man, things are going pretty good, man. Just, chill little Tuesday.
Yeah?
Doing good, man. Living life.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's great. We're at the midpoint of the season in college football, and we're getting through the NFL season, so let's hop right into it.
Yep.
Starting off with college football, we're going to briefly talk about LSU. They defeated Army by a score of 62-0. LSU just continued to cause havoc on offense with their seventh straight 500-plus yard game. Beginning with Jaden Daniels, what did he do this week and impress you?
He threw 11 for 15, 279 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown all in one half. That's what he did to impress me. He's just played like he has all season. It's not even anything specific in this game. Just the way he's played all year has really impressed me.
Yeah, nothing really impressed me, to be honest. This is kind of what I've come to expect from Jaden Daniels. And plus, we're playing against Army. So, he did what he was supposed to do. It's nothing much you can really take away from it.
Yeah, I thought Daniels played really patiently, and he just kept doing, like you guys said, doing what he's doing and playing confidently. He anticipated routes in this one, and he also did a really good job of improvising out of there, making plays out of nothing. But what will he have to do in order to keep his success up against Alabama?
Just keep his awareness up. He's been really good at being aware in the pocket lately. So keep that up. Just play smart. And just don't try and force a run when you need to. Stay in the pocket and be patient. But to be totally honest, I'm not concerned about how Jaden's going to do in this game. It's I have full confidence and faith in him.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just going to come down to him making smart decisions. Mm-hmm. He's got the talent. He's got the offense and the weapons around him to do what he needs to do in order to win this game. So, yeah, as long as he takes care of the ball, which he has been doing all season, and just doesn't give Alabama anything to capitalize off of, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I think it's protect the ball. I think that's the biggest thing for Daniels in this one. But I think he's also going to have to be able to anticipate routes best in this game. Mm-hmm. That defense for Alabama is really solid, and they have guys that can get to the quarterback. So this is where you have to trust in guys like Neighbors and Thomas, and that kind of comes into effect. And it's going to come down to the ability to get the ball to them downfield. Yeah. 2 score touchdowns and not field goals, right, in a game like this. So talk about the younger guys and what they did to impress you in the second half of this game. Obviously, you didn't see much of the starters in this one.
Yeah. More specifically, Trey Holly, he was crowned SEC Freshman of the Week for his performance. Had a really good showing. Garrett Nussmeier, not really a young guy, but, he's going to be that next quarterback for LSU. So it's good to see him getting comfortable with more reps and taking shots down the field, which we know that's what he can do. So, it was just really good to see that, and it's kind of comforting to see that your second-string offense could come in and still keep that same energy, not taking their foot off the gas pedal. So a shutout win is really impressive.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I think Trey Holly might be my favorite LSU player of the future. He just looks so explosive, knowing what he did in high school.
Yeah.
With that, he has the Louisiana rushing record in high school. I have full faith that he'll be the next great LSU running back.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of what y'all said. I thought Trey Holly impressed with his speed and that ability to hit the holes really fast.
His burst is crazy.
Yeah, that burst is really crazy. It's like the turn on the gassers. Yeah, turn on the jets. And then you had Nuss, like you said, show some flashes. But defensively, I thought Deshaun Womack was really good off the edge in the second half, getting pressure into the backfield. We knew he was kind of going to be good. But also I like Jeremiah Hughes, a freshman corner from Bishop Gorman High School in Vegas. He played really good coverage in the second half, and he was tested a good bit. So what should the offense as a whole work during this 2-week period with the bye week and with Bama coming up? What should they work on?
The offense, I don't know. There's not really a whole lot. I guess just getting the ball out quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him really emphasize the run game going up into Bama, because once you do get that run established against Bama, it opens up everything.
Yeah.
And when you have everything opened up against this Bama team, you're going to be set as far as the offensive side of the ball. So, yeah, just getting the ball out quick and the run game.
Yep.
Yeah, like Nathan said, this offense is averaging 47 points a game. the number one offense in college football. There's only so much that they should have to work on as it is. But I mean, I guess what comes to mind is getting the ball out quicker. Obviously, you're facing a team like Bama, so that pocket is going to collapse a lot faster than it usually does. Making smart decisions, like I said, and really just making plays. You're really going to have to count on your big-time playmakers to make those plays in this game.
Yeah, for me, I think it's creativity in the red zone. I think LSU has to do a little bit better of a job. I guess they're not showing off the plays against Army, right? They might be saving some stuff, but I think creativity-wise, you have to find a better way to kind of go down when you're on the 9 or when you're on the 8 and just score from there and not just from, the 1 or the 3, stuff like that. But next with this defense, this was the first shutout of the season for LSU. Regardless of who you play, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
So credit to that LSU defense. They only allowed 42 passing yards all night, held the Army offense to under 200 total yards. So what improvements stood out to you this weekend when watching the LSU defense?
Definitely the secondary. Getting 3 picks in this LSU secondary is huge after what we've seen so far. Andre Sam stepped up huge for this team. That was a big improvement. And then when you have at least one guy like him who can step up just week in and week out, like that's huge for this defense. Whether it's Andre Sam or somebody else, like if you have one guy step up, it elevates this defense to good enough level, which is a lot better than they've been the first couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I just think it was so refreshing to see this defense play the way they did, and more specifically, the secondary. Obviously we've harped on this defense all season long about how incompetent that they've looked at times. So it's confidence boosting, and it couldn't have come at a better time, to be honest with you. And like you said, Nathan, with Andre Sam stepping up, that's just only going to make everybody else in that secondary, oh, man, I need to step my game up too. So,
Yeah, I thought the defense was able to wrap up and hit the holes this weekend, and that's something they've kind of struggled with, which was stopping plays at the line of scrimmage this year, and that wasn't a factor this week. It might be false hope, but this LSU defensive line and linebacker core might be starting to figure things out in terms of that. So everyone actually played as a whole, too. That's really what I saw, and that's the first time I saw that as a collective group in the defense. So with a game like this, how big is this for the confidence of these guys leading into such a big game?
It's huge. I think a massive blowout is exactly what you needed from the offense, and it's what we kind of all expected.
Oh, yeah.
But on the defense, putting on a shutout was absolute best case scenario, in my opinion, for these guys' confidence. It showed them, hey, we are capable of like actually playing defense.
Yes.
And I think it's huge for these guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'll say it again. It couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, you're getting ready to face what may be your toughest game of the season ahead of you. So this is the moment where you really needed something like that. And they didn't just pitch a shutout against Army. Army never got close to scoring the football.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they reached the red zone, anything like that. There wasn't too many drives where they crossed the 50, let alone reaching the red zone. So,
and
like you say, this is going to do really well for their confidence and their morale.
Yeah, I think it's like you guys. I think it's a good tone setter that the defense knows they have to get better each week.
Yeah.
And this is like baby steps. That's how I kind of see it. It's baby steps that you have to take, right? You have to learn how to do it. You can't just hope it happens overnight. And LSU is kind of showing that every week. They're getting a little bit better every week. You saw it against Missouri. Now you're seeing it now. It's consistently getting better. And Auburn.
Since the second half of that Missouri game, this defense has flipped a little bit of a switch to the point where they say, okay, we're not just giving up 40 points every week.
Yeah, and Saturday, LSU lost Zy Alexander to a lower leg injury after he was super impressive starting this entire year. So he was obviously your best corner. So talk about what that means for LSU moving forward.
It's a huge loss if he depending on. Did they say how much time
They
he's
haven't
expected to miss?
They haven't said the
I
extremity
didn't
of
think
it
so,
yet.
But if he does miss any games, man, that's a huge loss, especially against Bama. Losing your best corner in a secondary that's not very good is a big loss in probably your biggest game of the year. But, like I said earlier, if guys like Andre Sam can continue to step up, I think they might be okay. But, excuse me, you're definitely going to notice his absence.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's really just common sense at this point. You don't want to lose your best corner guy going into your biggest game of the year. But, Nathan said this on the show Sunday, Azai Alexander with little preparation, little reps is better than no Zai Alexander at all.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. This is exactly not what you wanted for LSU going into that bye week. I mean, you wanted everyone healthy for Alabama, but this just means he's going to, like you said, he's going to miss those practice reps. He's going to miss just time off, right?
Yeah.
And that's time where he's going to have to go to the trainer and get some work done. And as far as impact on this team, like you guys said, it's just really hurtful because this was your best guy all year.
Yeah.
And when he plays well, everyone else plays well. It's just that kind of placebo effect he has on other guys. And on Saturday night, he showed some really good stuff again. And then not only that, he was laying hits on Army players. So we haven't seen that this year, but that just means he's opening up to even better, But who are some guys that will have to step up in that corner room, not only if he doesn't get to play versus Bama, but just in general?
I'd say definitely Andre Sam, not to be super repetitive, but he's got to be your second best corner right now, I think. And then I'm also going to say Major Burns. I think you're going to need a big game from him, especially if Zai is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with Andre Sam. I mean, he just had a big week against Army. So I'm looking for I'm sure his confidence is sky high right now, but I'm looking for him to pick up where he left off. But more specifically, Major Burns, this is a guy who has played in this game before, who knows the intensity and what it feels like, understands the magnitude of the moment. So that's a guy that I'm going to be looking for to really make plays. Not really even make plays, but just make key tackles here and there.
Yeah.
Make the right play.
Make
the right play. He's had a little bit of trouble with open field tackling this season.
A lot.
So
he's got to get better with that. But I'm not sure why Denver Harris didn't play this week, but he's one of the more physical corners for this LSU team, and I think he's got to step it up. But I think that down the stretch, Sage Ryan is also going to have to be a guy that LSU can actually rely on.
Yeah.
So finally talking about this LSU team, what does LSU have to do in general to beat Bama come 2 weeks from now?
You're just going to have to play very physical,
yeah,
in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I've said this over and over and over. The offense I have zero concerns about. I think that they could easily outscore this Bama offense.
Oh, yeah.
They're better in literally every single facet.
Got to protect the ball, though.
Got to protect the ball.
In a game like this, especially.
But I'm just not worried about these guys. The defense is where my concerns are. The Bama offense, it's not good, but
it'll show up.
You've seen they can show up. They scored 27 unanswered against Tennessee.
Yep.
I'm not worried about the LSU offense getting shut out in a second half.
No.
That's just never going to happen.
Right.
But
you got to start fast.
You're going to have to start fast. You're going to have to get out ahead. You're going to need the defense to make a couple stops here and there. And,
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the offense either, but like you said on the Sunday show, Nathan, with this type of game, it wouldn't surprise me if this ended up being one of those defensive games where just no team was really able to get it going. It really wouldn't surprise me. So I would say for those situations where they do make it into the red zone, we cannot keep settling for 3 points.
Right.
We cannot afford to settle for 3 points. So they're going to have to get really creative. Yeah. And they're really going to have to rely on their playmakers tonight. This is the game where stars are made. I don't want to be, cliche, but it is, man.
It's
like
true,
it's really just that simple.
Yeah, it comes down to like the big guys like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, those guys show up. It comes down to if Harold Perkins shows up to play. So I think they're going to have to get pressure on Jalen Milroe. I think that's the biggest thing, and make him uncomfortable. When you see he's uncomfortable, he does not play well. Look at the first few games. Look at Texas. I mean, Texas made him uncomfortable all night. He was throwing 2-3 picks.
Yeah.
So the more you make Alabama one-dimensional, the better the game will go for you. And I think the offense, like we said, they're going to find ways to score, but it's not going to be as much as we're used to seeing.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
This is a rivalry game. Alabama's going to show up to play, and I know that. But I think for LSU, they're going to have to just show up and actually get things done in the red zone. Like you said, you can't settle for 3 in a game like this. But shifting to the NFL, we're going to talk about a few of the games this week, starting with the Bears and the Raiders. The Bears defeated the Raiders by a score of 30-12, where rookie Tyson Bagent led the team to a victory, throwing 1 touchdown. For the Bears, does this past weekend show what they can do without Justin Fields?
I don't think this is necessarily a product of what they did without Justin Fields. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Tyson Bagent is a better.
He played well though.
He did, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend. He threw for 162 yards. That's not exactly anything crazy. I'm not going to pretend he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields is good, but I think he's definitely better than Tyson Bagent. Like, you're telling me that if Fields was back tomorrow, like they would debate whether or not to start Badgett over him. That's not going to happen. But I do think that this was a big step for the Bears' confidence. At least this offense realized, oh hey, we can actually score points sometimes, and
without Justin Fields.
Yeah,
that's what the question. Like that's what I'm saying. I think like this weekend shows that you can kind of move on from Justin.
Sure, I guess in that case.
I don't think it's saying that Badgett is the answer, right?
Right.
I think that just means you can win without him.
Yeah, and I think they've known that for a while. I mean, you've seen that Justin Fields is not the answer for every game this season and last season and the year before, because I think he's in year 3 now. Yeah. We've been known that Justin Fields is not the guy.
They were comparing this guy to Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I remember that.
Coming in the rookie year. Yeah, I mean, they were. He was at the Heisman ceremony when he won it, and people were trying to find a debate and saying that Justin Fields was a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, although Ohio State fans would love giving that entertainment. Obviously, I'm no – look at it now.
Yeah.
Just it's funny to look at.
Blasphemous. But anyway, I don't think this is a sign of necessarily what they can do without him. I do think it's very interesting, though, because that's been a conversation for a while. I mean, they were talking about trading Justin Fields to get the number 1 pick last season. But I'm not going to put too much stock into that because as bad as the Raiders are on a week-to-week basis, they didn't even have their starting quarterback also this week. So I can't put too much stock into that. I mean,
it's the Raiders. Yeah,
I
know.
Exactly, and it's the Raiders. So, good for Tyler Badgett. He's only the second Division II quarterback to start a game in the past 20 years, and, he gets his win in his first try to do it. So, I mean, kudos to him, but I can't put too much stock into it.
I actually think it shows you that you should probably move on from Justin Fields and just start over. I think he's completely holding this team back with not only him being bad, but coaching. I mean, everything's just really inconsistent with his play, and that's not something that you want to see in quarterback play is inconsistency. But as far as the Raiders, this is a team that has problems all over the place. Devante Adams has expressed his unhappiness with the team. So what do you see his future in Vegas looking like?
Man, he's got to get out of there.
Yeah.
I think Devante Adams probably has at least a good 2 to 3 years left at the level that he's capable of playing at.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really hate to see him just wasted on a team like the Raiders.
Yeah.
Miraculously, he was able to put up 1,500 yards last year with Derek Carr as his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback, that I don't see that happening at all. I mean, he's on my fantasy team, so I'm watching on a week-to-week basis what he's doing. And I think he's had maybe 2 good games. And the Monday Night Football game against the Packers, he might have gotten targeted 3 times. I don't think he got his second target until the 4th quarter. That's just absolutely ridiculous. There's no way you have a receiver like that on your team and you're just not throwing him the ball. And it's not like he's getting locked up or anything. You're just not looking for him.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're Devante Adams, you got to get out of there. I get it. He was trying to get paid and he didn't want to be in Green Bay anymore, but Las Vegas isn't any better for sure.
Yeah, I think if they don't trade him before the deadline, they've completely mismanaged the situation because then at that point
he's not going to try.
It's not that he's not easy. Not only is he not going to try, he's going to hold out next year, and your value for him is going to decrease dramatically. You're not going to get nearly what you would right now for him.
Exactly.
So you need to trade him ASAP, or else you're not going to get. You're going to get a bag of chips for him.
Yeah, and I think he got into a really bad situation going to Vegas, and he should have never he should have never gone into that place. And he should have known what he was getting himself into, and that's really a mistake on his part.
Yeah.
Which I think it's not being greedy because he obviously knows his worth, but you got to explore your options when it comes to that. Quarterback play, it doesn't help his case, obviously. I know that Derek Carr kind of walked after last year, but as far as his future goes, I mean, he's going to be gone after the season.
Yeah, I thought that situation was weird to begin with. I mean,
at
first it was about money, and Green Bay offered him more money.
Yeah.
And then it was about him playing with his old college team.
I was going to say.
I just look, man, this is the NFL. Like,
I think
being friends is cool and all, but
but you got to go to your best option.
You're not here to make friends.
Yeah,
right.
I'm here to win.
It's true. And now Jimmy G is hurt again, where Brian Hoyer, I mean, just if you were a fan of either of these teams, the Bears and the Raiders, watching this game, you must have just been like, this is not fun. I mean, Garoppolo has not played well enough for this team.
Yeah.
So what should Vegas do with the quarterback situation?
You got to draft somebody, I think.
Yeah.
They've been putting that off for a while now, and I think it's finally time to just bite the bullet, make a lot of trades, make sure you get a high enough pick.
With Devante, you could make
you
make a splash, man.
I think you need to trade Devante, get a high up pick. You need at least a top 10 pick to spend on a quarterback.
And with how bad your team is, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get a lot of it.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think they have any other option other than to draft somebody.
Yeah, you hit it right on the money, man. They don't have a lot of options as it is. This is just not a good football team. They have a really good receiver in Devante Adams, and I think they get a good amount back from trading him. So, like I said, you just got to bite the bullet, man. Draft a quarterback because Jimmy G's not the answer.
Yeah, and I used to think that Jimmy G was a good quarterback, but that's just what Kyle Shanahan makes you look like. Man. It's crazy. I think I overrated him a bit, but he's just not the guy for Vegas, obviously. This offense is stagnant, doesn't have much going for them. And it's crazy to say that because they have Josh Jacobs, they have Devante Adams, and after that, it drops off. But that's a lot of weapons.
There's some big weapons. Yeah,
there's some weapons in there. And in my opinion, they should go out. I think they should tank straight up. I think they should tank, get a great quarterback, start over. Mess with Devante Adams, see what he's valuable for in the market, see what you can get out of him. But moving on to the Buffalo Bills, they were somehow to be defeated by the dumpster fire New England Patriots, where Mac Jones saved his job on Sunday.
Yeah,
he did, straight up. He saved his job playing a great game, having only 5 incompletions. The Bills' offense was stagnant in another game this season, so let's talk about it. What's wrong with this Bills' offense, and why can't they just play consistently?
Well, their quarterback has a little bit of a turnover issue, and he can really sling it, man. But you can't throw an interception on your first play of the game, man. That is
sets the tone.
That's just like you said, it sets the tone. That's just bad football. Simple as that. Bad football 1-on-1. And I think sometimes Josh Allen gets a little bit over greedy. And another thing I noticed is that when Josh Allen turns the ball over, it really takes this Bill team out of their element.
Chemistry too. It's gone out the window.
It really just kind of deflates all of their, passion that they had going into the game, and now it's just they're really all out of whack, and they're clawing and scratching to get back in the game. And I just think the Bills are way too good of a team to constantly be in these types of situations. This happened last week against Jacksonville. So, he's going to have to fix that issue, man, that turnover issue.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen, he didn't play horrible, but he had 265 yards and 2 touchdowns, which for Josh Allen, with as much as he's been hyped up, it's underachieving. He's just has to play better. Like you said, the turnover problem's an issue. But other than that, their offense plays pretty well.
It didn't this week.
I mean, 25 points is not awful. That should have been enough to beat the Patriots.
It should have been, but I think it has to do with a lack of communication between Josh Allen and his receivers. Like Jaden said, once that first turnover goes, I think they all they're not on the same page. Yeah, he's not played well all season, I feel like, Josh Allen, and he's going to stir up questions in that front office if he continues this. Yeah. Another part of that, like I said, is the coaching. I don't think they're putting everyone in the best position to succeed. So what do you see as the Bills' future right now? This season.
More of what they've been doing. They're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're going to win a good stretch of games here, and, people are going to say, oh, I could see them making the Super Bowl perhaps, and they're going to get bounced.
Yeah.
These are issues that,
same thing.
These are issues that championship teams shouldn't have at this stage of the season.
Right. And such an experienced team.
Yeah, such an experienced team. A team that a good bit of these guys have been together for 3 or 4 seasons consecutively. So, yeah, man, it's midway through the season, and you're having these types of issues.
Yeah, you're almost midway through the season, and it's not getting any better.
This is not what you need.
I think it might be a little bit tougher for them to make the playoffs than we think. They're second in the East right now.
Yeah.
They've got the Dolphins ahead of them, who are the Dolphins. I think are winning that division.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Obviously, there's still a lot of time left in the season for them to pick things up, but I don't know if they're a guarantee to make the playoffs. I think it's very possible that they miss out this year, and I've been saying for at least 2 years now, the Bills' Super Bowl window has been closed. I said that last year too, and a lot of people disagree with me, but I just it feels like they're just kind of doing the same thing over and over.
Exactly, it's the same thing.
And we're seeing it start to finally decline, and I think the window's closed.
Yeah, and I think if they continue to play like this, I think they're still going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to get bounced first round. And if they can get things fixed and play consistently, like which we've been talking about for so long now, I feel like if they can do that, I truly believe that they're a Super Bowl contender, but they're just not showing that on a week-to-week basis, which is why I think they're going to get bounced in the playoffs really early. But as for the Patriots, is this team as bad as we thought they were?
Yeah, they're still bad. I mean, it's the NFL. Like, bad teams win games here and there. Bad teams beat good teams. They're all. I mean, it's the best of the best players. Like, it's just gonna happen. Upsets like that. They're 2-5 right now. This was their second win of the season. They're
awful.
They're still a really bad team.
You couldn't put it any better than that.
I mean,
they're still a bad team.
I don't know what happened this week, but the Bills' defense, like we said, they played awful. They made Mac Jones look good, which is surprising because it's really hard to do that. Like, actually, Mac Jones.
It's hard to make Mac Jones
if Mac
look
Jones
good.
haters are not alive, I am dead, man. I do not like Mac Jones, but is he the quarterback for England going forward, even after the season's over?
No. I mean,
Absolutely
he got
not.
benched against the Cowboys. I don't care how bad you're playing as a starting quarterback. If you get benched, that is
more than once.
That is a bad sign. That means you were so bad, I had to get you out of the game.
Twice.
And the game was probably already over by that point.
Twice
but
or
I
three
still had
times.
to take you out of the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, he saved his job for another day, another week, but
Yeah,
he's not going to be there.
I don't think one good game in his entire career is enough to say he's the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Fields was playing actually really well before he got hurt, and we're still sitting here today talking about how he's not the guy for the future of the Bears.
Yeah.
It's just how it is in the NFL.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is still just he's not good at
not
all.
good,
He's still
bro.
punching dudes in the nuts. He's just
No one likes the guy.
No
Like, I feel
one-
like
no one
I
likes
mean, it's one thing
He's
that
not-
you're playing against the guy and you're like, "Oh yeah, I get to face Mac Jones." Well, what does his receivers think? That's my thing. It's like this is exactly what Keyshawn Butte gets
yeah.
for selling LSU is he gets to play on this Patriots offense. But I mean, for Mac Jones, man, I just don't like the style of play he brings to the NFL as it is. He's a pocket quarterback, and he doesn't even do great in that instance.
I never thought he was good to begin with.
No, and I didn't think so either. I thought that season was a fluke. I mean, when you have Devante Smith going out
Harris.
and playing against high schoolers,
Jalen Waddle.
during
He
the
was
COVID
just-
year,
Yeah.
and then like you see, with the way that quarterbacks are succeeding now in the NFL, he's going to be gone soon, and especially with the way that they're able to move in the pocket and extend plays with his legs. He can't do that.
Yeah.
So last Thursday, though, the Saints were defeated by a score of 31-24 in a game where the offense looked better, but struggled in the red zone. So starting off with that offense, why can't the Saints be successful in the red zone, and what do they have to do to get it fixed?
You need to fire Pete Carmichael, and you need to draft a new quarterback. Those are your two fixes. Pete Carmichael's got to go, man. It's the same exact problems week in and week out. And you got Dennis Allen sitting up here on the podium every week telling you the exact. We'll evaluate and see when we need to make changes. We'll let you know when we make some changes. We need to do this. We need to do that. We'll cross that bridge. Dude, the amount of times I've heard we'll cross that bridge when we get to it blows me out of the water. You've been standing on the bridge since week 2. Like, we are on the bridge.
Oh, it's burning.
The bridge is collapsing under
Bridge
our
is
feet,
burning.
and we're falling into the volcano under us. Like,
Yep.
there's no more let's cross this bridge when we get to it. You need to make staff changes now.
And if he doesn't, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is he dumb? Like,
I don't know.
does he know?
I feel like Gail doesn't even know what's going on at this point. Benson, she's just kind of happy-go-lucky. Like, doesn't even
Happy,
realize.
I love Zion
Doesn't even
Williamson.
realize that Mickey Loomis, Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael are stealing millions of dollars from her every
Yeah,
year, and she
it's
just
true.
doesn't even know.
Red zone, though.
Yeah, red zone. You have to get rid of Pete Carmichael. I mean, the play calling down there is horrendous. You get the exact same plays run 4 times in a row.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. It's just a
Just
matter of yeah, I agree. But it's just a matter of creativity, man. Like, it's so simple. I mean, the offense looks pretty good
Yeah, like
until
when,
they reach about the 20-yard line. and then it's just they just forget how to play football.
Yeah, it's true. I think the Saints are just overcomplicating every single little thing they do on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, the problem is we see them throw fade routes in the end zone on every single dang play. But as far as the red zone, the play calling, like Nate said, it's got to get better. When a guy like Taysom Hill has been super consistent for you and you don't keep going back to him on the goal line, I mean, I don't understand that. And then that's like deep in opponent territory. That's a coaching issue at that point. And I feel like the locker room's got to be mad about it because it's seeing them see what we're seeing. I mean, they see even more of it. So I just don't know how they've been dealing with this for so long and not going off the walls. But should Dennis Allen be on the hot seat? I mean, I feel like this is a given.
I don't think Dennis Allen should have ever gotten hired, and I said that when the Saints were looking for a new head coach. I think they wanted the consistency of an in-house hire, and I think that was the absolute wrong move, and we're seeing that now live in front of our eyes. I wanted Brian Flores when it happened, or Doug Peterson. We interviewed Doug Peterson, had him in the building, and now look what he's doing with Jacksonville. The Saints really just like screwed this one up like bad by hiring.
Office, yep.
I mean, you could have looked at his record as a head coach known at the Raiders, and like sure you can give him all the credit you want about how he got thrown into a crappy situation in Oakland or whatever. He had a horrible record. At the end of the day, he's just not a good head coach. Great defensive coordinator. Our defense is the best it's been in years.
But when you have players like that, it's kind of hard not to be.
When he sucks as a head coach.
Yeah, you can put Dennis Allen on that hot seat. You can put Derek Carr on that hot seat. You can put Chris Olave on that hot seat since he wants to be a jailbird. You can put Foster Moreau on that hot seat.
That's his initiation as a Saint, bro.
All right.
Getting arrested.
That was a joke, by the way. Chris, you cool with me. You can put Foster Moreau on that hot seat.
Be careful, he might come find you on the road.
And you can put Gail Benson on that hot seat.
Gail Benson.
This is just an ugly situation.
We're calling out Gail.
But as a Saints fan, bro, like it is, it's really just funny at this point.
It is,
but it gets
funny.
like exhausting watching this every week, like expecting something different to happen.
Yeah, at some point it's like, man, the best week of the Saints season. You know what it is,
dude?
It's the bye week.
Yeah, I was actually like thrilled when I woke up on Sunday and I was like, man, I don't have to watch. We got that loss out of the way already.
Today.
We got the loss out of the way. I can just watch regular football, good football today.
And, we can do this every Thursday. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even be mad at it.
Get him out the way every Thursday.
And I think not only should he be on the hot seat, but it's like Nate said, his an inability to take the blame for what's going on right now. It just shows why he can't coach an NFL team. That comes with maturity. He obviously doesn't have it. I mean, you have to be responsible enough to take the blame for what's going on. And he was, like Nathan said, he was always the wrong hire and always will come back to haunt New Orleans fans in the future when his name is mentioned. I think the Saints let so many people get away that during that interview process, like Doug Peterson, like Dan Campbell, all these guys. I mean, it's going to come back to haunt you.
We also interviewed Eric Bieniemy, by the way, for several hours. Like it was like an 8-hour interview or something. And I think it was, I don't know if it was for the head coaching job or just for the offensive coordinator, but we had him in the building.
I think it was head coach, yeah. But for Jacksonville, I mean, what do you see as their future if they can keep it up on the offensive side of the ball?
They can make a deep playoff run. This is a good football team in Jacksonville. They're still a little young. They've got their struggles, but they are a good, well-coached football team. I'm a big Doug Peterson fan.
I mean, you said it yourself. This was like your Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the season. So, and their hopes are still alive. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I mean, if this team with Trevor Lawrence playing the way that I've seen him play, definitely going to have to get Calvin Ridley just a little bit more involved. Like, he shouldn't be having one catch for 5 yards. That's just I think he's too good to finish a game with that type of stat line. But yeah, I mean, this is a good football team, and I could definitely see them making some noise in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, I agree, and I think for this Jacksonville team, they don't get me wrong, they still have a long way to go to contend for Super Bowl talk. But if that defense can be a little better, especially that linebacker core and that cornerback group, they're going to be so good because they can get pressure the quarterback. That's no problem for them, but it's the coverage issues that have kind of hurt them. But shifting over to Major League Baseball, at the time of recording, the Texas Rangers have beat the Houston Astros, so the world is happy pretty much with this. And so the Texas Rangers will go on to face the winner of tonight's game. It'll be Arizona Diamondbacks and the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yep.
So who's going to win the World Series and why?
I think the Rangers are
Really?
gonna take it. Yeah, I obviously I think if the Phillies make it tonight, I think they've got a really good chance. But I think the Rangers just feel like team of destiny this year.
Yeah, that's true.
They were like the best team in baseball for a huge stretch of the season, and then they hit some speed bumps, and it almost felt like everybody wrote them
Everyone's
off.
injured.
Yeah, it felt like everybody wrote them off a little bit, and now we're getting reminded why they were the best team in baseball for such a big stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think it's going to be between the Rangers and
You think
I think the Phillies are going to. I think the Phillies are going to win tonight. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just think the Rangers are going to do it. Like I said, momentum is a dangerous thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree, and especially in baseball. But I'm going to go with the Phillies, man. There's just something about that depth in their lineup. You have Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos,
Love Kyle Schwarber.
JT Realmuto. I mean, that Trey Turner. I mean, this is just deep. And then you look at the pitching, and it's Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, and that's really good. But then you have the bullpen. The bullpen's going to lose you games. So that's really concerning. But I think just with the depth from 1 through 9 that Philly has, that they're going to be okay. But how many games do you think the World Series goes just in general?
I'm gonna say 6. I think Rangers win it in 6.
yeah, 6.
Yeah, I have Philly in 6, but
I think 6 is always just kind of just the safe option.
safe,
for,
yeah,
for choosing how, long the
especially in
series
a
is gonna
World
go.
Series, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to be like a sweep. But finally, it's time for the best segment of the week, guys. The weekly poo-poo Broussard. It will go out to the worst performance of the week. So give it to me, Jaden. Start us off strong.
Oh, Foster Moreau, man.
Say
I'm
it again.
not
Say
even-
it again.
Foster Moreau. I don't even really have an explanation for it, bro. Just catch the ball.
Okay. I'm going
Look,
to Nate.
I give Foster Moreau a little bit of a pass. But my poo-poo Broussard of the week is going to be Michael Penix Jr., former thought to be dark horse for the Heisman. Still in the race.
Still in the
Still
race,
race, but I don't know.
Didn't help him this week.
Didn't help him this week after he did not score a single touchdown against a 1-6, now 1-7 Arizona State team.
Ouch.
Yeah, to not score at all is insane to me. He went 27 for 42 with 275 yards in all 4 quarters.
Absolute stinker.
2 interceptions too.
You
by
let
the
Ryan
way.
Clarkson go and lock your boys up.
Yeah, Michael Penix, you are my poo-poo Broussard of the week.
Love it. Well, this week I'm going to have to go with James Franklin, Penn State head coach. I think this is the most overrated college football coach in the country. And the way that he cannot win a big game, it's just so repetitive, right? Like, what's a year without Penn State and losing big games, right? It's just not college football without it. This Penn State team, always hyped up, and I don't even know why the college football AP voters even rank them anymore, because they know dang well that they're going to go and lose 2 or 3 more games against good teams, and it's always against Ohio State or Michigan.
Yeah,
So
they always lose to the big boys.
yeah, exactly. And it's always coaching that gets them into these situations, because Penn State, they're always going to have the talent, and they always do. It's a dang shame, too, because its fan base is completely fine with just being good enough to make the Rose Bowl every year. So that's going to do it for us today. Big thank you to Nathan Messina and Jaden Smith for joining me today. I'm Andre Champagne, and this has been the Hodges Huddle.